Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today, our story about a person who is popular and teacher, but nobody know him well on the outside. He looked like any ordinary guy, but behind closed doors, he was a monster. Karim Mohamed Selim, just 34 years old, known as the 5th settlement butcher in Arabic after the crimes he did. It all started in 2020 when two women went missing in Cairo, Egypt. Both of them had gone to meet the same man. He is just 34 years old, and according to what we know about him, he had a wife and children, a normal family man. Well, no one could have predicted what would happen next. After those two women went missing, more and more women started to go missing as well. Soon, it became clear that they were all linked to the same guy, Karim. All the women who disappeared had one thing in common. They were all sex workers or dancers at a local club called Public. It seemed like Karim was specifically targeting them. The police started investigating, and they discovered something that shocked them. Karim had been luring these women to his house under false pretenses. He would invite them over for a drink or to hang out, but once they arrived, he would drug them and then kill them. Then he would cut their bodies into pieces and dispose of them in different locations around the city. What made this case even more disturbing was that Karim was not acting alone. He had accomplices who helped him carry out his gruesome crimes. One of his accomplices was his own wife. Can you believe that? His wife was helping him lure these women, and then they would drug them and kill them together. As the investigation continued, the police uncovered more details about the horrifying crimes committed by Karim and his gang. They found out that he had been running this operation for quite some time, and he had a network of accomplices who helped him procure drugs and dispose of the bodies. The question is, how did they get away with this for so long? Well, it turns out that Karim was very careful. He made sure to select victims who were not well known or who had criminal records. This way, if they went missing, it was less likely that the police would investigate. He also made sure to cover up his tracks by disposing of the bodies properly, by bribing some of the people who worked at the club where the women met him. Finally, the police were able to gather enough evidence to arrest Karim and his accomplice. When the news broke out about the arrest of the 5th settlement butcher, as he was now being called, there was outrage across the country. People were shocked and horrified by the brutality of his crimes and the fact that he had been able to get away with it for so long. So let's get into it. Who exactly is the 5th settlement butcher? How did he commit his heinous crimes and why? And most importantly, what is the current status of the case and where is he today? As mentioned before, the case came to light when two women went missing. After they had been in contact with Karim, one of the missing persons was a 27-year-old belly dancer who had been performing at a local club for several years. The other was a 24-year-old sex worker who had been working in Cairo for a while. Both women had been in contact with Karim through mutual friends, and they had agreed to meet him for drinks and to hang out. However, they never arrived at their destination, and they were never seen again. When the families of the missing women went to the police, they were initially reluctant to believe that Karim was involved in their disappearance. After all, he was just an ordinary guy who had a family and a job, but as the investigation progressed, the police uncovered a dark secret. Karim was actually a serial killer who had been preying on women for years. His motive for killing these women was not robbery or sexual assault, but something much more sinister. According to what Karim confessed later on, he was driven by a deep hatred for women. He believed that all women were evil and deserved to be punished, and he chose to target sex workers because he saw them as the worst of the worst. But how did he manage to lure these women to his house without them suspecting anything? Well, Karim was a smooth talker and he knew how to make women feel special. He would compliment them and tell them how beautiful they were and how much he admired them. He would also offer to buy them expensive gifts and take them to fancy restaurants. In short, he knew how to make a woman feel like $1,000,000. Once the women arrived at his house, he would offer them a drink which he had already laced with drugs. The drugs would make the women feel drowsy and weak and they would pass out within minutes. At this point, Karim would call his accomplices, who would come and help him carry the unconscious women to his bedroom. There, they would assault the women in the most brutal ways imaginable. They would beat them, torture them, and do terrible things to them. And when the women would eventually pass away, he would cut their bodies into pieces and dispose of them in different locations around the city. But why did Karim start doing this in the first place? Well, unfortunately, we may never know the full story. But he himself claimed that he had always hated women and that he started his killing spree as soon as he turned 18. He also claimed that he had no remorse for his actions and that he was proud of what he had done. In total, Karim confessed to killing 21 women, and he gave the police the location of all their bodies. He also told the police about all the other people who had helped him commit his crimes, including his own wife. When the news of the case broke out, there was public outrage in Egypt. Many people were shocked and disgusted by the brutality of Karim's crimes, and some even called for the death penalty for him. However, others defended him, saying that he was just a product of his environment, and that he had been corrupted by the bad influences around him. Regardless, the Egyptian authorities took swift action and arrested all of the people involved in the case. This included Karim, his wife, and several of his accomplices. The trial was highly publicized, and Egyptians from all over the country were eager to hear the verdict. In the end, Karim and his accomplices were found guilty and sentenced to death. And although the case has been closed, many Egyptians are still calling for justice. Some people believe that the death penalty is not harsh enough for what these people have done, and that they should be given life sentences instead. Others believe that the Egyptian government is corrupt, and that it will never punish these people fairly, whatever the case may be. The 5th settlement butcher case will be remembered as one of the most horrific crimes in Egyptian history. The brutality of the crime and the fact that it was committed by someone who was once considered normal and ordinary has shocked and horrified people all over the world. In recent years, similar cases have occurred in different parts of the world, reminding us that evil can sometimes be hidden in plain sight. And that's all for this video. Who has reached till here? Write down and comment. And do you want to forget to share the video with your friends and family?